Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Eid Mubarak. This is MD Shahriar Parvez, founder and CEO, Independent Perception and Research Hub, Bangladesh, welcoming you all to our online live international webinar, Volume 5. And this time, our theme is Transformal Education Empowering the Generation. So, dear participants and viewers, welcome to our online international webinar presented by Independent Perception Research Hub Bangladesh. This is an educational public webinar, so each and every person feel free join with us. Independent Perception and Research Hub is an educational research and consultation center for the talent researcher and educational scholar to share their perception on different issues and fact. The main goal of Independent Perception and Research Hub IPRH is to enlighten the independent perception on individual thoughts, sharing their knowledge, providing research news and training, brainstorming and research process consultation with innovative ideas. It is also organized talk show with different researchers from different countries around the world. And so interested to research scholar, you are most welcome to join with IPRH and sharing your innovative ideas and share to contribute the society and contribute the whole world. Because IPRH always believes that knowledge is power. Now come to our big point. That's our today's webinar. Actually, theme is transformer education and empowering generation. So transformer learning is the process of deep constructive meaningful learning that goes beyond the simple knowledge acquisition, support critical ways in which learner actually make meaning of their lives. And it is actually like a activity based learning. So each and every student and each and every learner, like primary, secondary and tertiary, each of the area we need the now in a days the transformal education which is empowering our generation. So yes, now today we have total four eminent resource speaker from all around the world, and also we have discussant and session chair. So now I am welcoming you all for our presentation session. Before that, dear attendants, you will actually get very soon the link for the registration for your free certification after this webinar. So feel free, you just construct with me and construct with us, and we hope that you will learn something from our this webinar. So let's welcome our first guest speaker, Mejamin Faiza Pradhan from Bangladesh. She is an author, willingness thinker, speaker, columnist, and also daily observer of Bangladesh English newspaper. She is appreciated by the World Book Record of London and international award winner for youth leadership. So let's welcome our eminent speaker, Faiza Mejavin Faiza Pradhan. So Mejavin Faiza, welcome you to our this webinar, and yes, we are very delighted to find you in our this session. We hope that your presentation will enlighten our viewers to learn something about our today's topic. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to congratulate and thanks to Independent Perception and Research Hub for bringing this topic and gathering all the global leaders to reflect on that topic. It's amazing. So thank you very much for having me and for this wonderful opportunity to reflect on. And yeah, I'm not gonna take more time because we have so many other guests. So I'll just straight jump into the point of today's topic: transformational education to empowering generation towards 2030. So I will just give you all a little bit of the background about this main core concept of transformational education. Educational transformation refers basically to systematic changes in the prevailing educational model, distinguishing itself from the theories that defend reforms or renovations of some elements of the model, maintaining the substance of that traditional teaching and learning process and its organization and its structure. The core purpose of transformative education is to empower our learners to see the social world differently and through an ethical lens, which is very important. That's why I think we all are working towards SDG and all the aspects of social current affairs. So therefore, they will challenge and change the status quo, which is a problem, and it will work as their own agent. I think this is very important to this. And the four phases are having experiences,
So,
making
Faiza, can you want to share your slides now?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay, please.
Is it visible? I already did. It's already there. Can you see this?
We see it. Yes, you just
Yes.
please.
Okay. As I was saying, yeah, so all these phases, that first one is making assumptions, challenging perspectives, and experiencing transformative learning practically. So, vision of 2030 is built around, I think, three primary themes: a vibrant society, a thriving economy system, and an ambitious nation, which we all are working towards because fulfillment is very important. Whatever we are doing, it must add value in end of the day. So the historic vision was developed by the Council of Economic and Development Affairs, which is chaired by Deputy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman around 2016, if I correctly remember the year. So to secure a cohesive society, a healthy natural environment, a high level of human capital development, and greater opportunities for social and economic mobility and prosperity for all. So the main characteristics of transformative education, the phases of transformative learning are disorienting dilemmas. You will see the dilemma is all that causing all the youth to take a back step or shrink within themselves. So we need to emphasize on that. And self-examination is very important. Once you develop this sort of skills, it gives you a third eye, which is very important. Critical assessment of assumption is very important. Planning a course of action along with all this, acquisition of knowledge or skills to carry out new plan, exploring and trying new roles. I would recommend personally. That gives you much more better closure towards your knowledge to expand your life, career, personally, professionally, both. So building self efficacy in new roles and relationships are very vital. Transformational learning theory involves two kinds of learning. Those are instrumental learning and communicative learning. Instrumental learning focuses on manipulating the environment through a learning task oriented problem solving and determination of causes and effects relationship. The transformative learning theory has three fundamental components, mostly the facilitate and learn the learning and the transformation of an adults in the business environment or any proactive development that we are looking for our young adults. These are critical reflection, the centrality of experience and rational discourse, of course. On the other hand, the four factors to transformational leadership, which idealize influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individual consideration. So you see, so many other aspects as part of this transformational education. So it's very vast. Each factor will be discussed to help any field someone is holding a position of CEO or managers, leaders, educators. It will help and enhance their journey, not only for themselves, for others also. So the three dimension where I would like to mention a little more, informative learning as a theory says that the process of perspective transformation has three dimensions. One is psychological changes in understanding of the self, which is very, very important, and a convictional. So having that conviction, when we say, it's like you have to revision of that belief that you are holding. You do not doubt yourself. So that is going to give you much more clear understanding and behavior changes. Another point here I would like to address for the five levels of transformation that we all should be aware of, which is pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. Pre-contemplation is the stage at which there is no intention of change of behavior by seeing or foreseeing the future. When you have that hunch, or your intuitive mind can take a hunch on the situation, but staying steady might give you another strength to take it to the next level. So let's move towards how do we promote transformative education for our youth. In order to facilitate transformative learning experience, educators should create a safe environment for students, mostly who are very young at this moment, to share their perspective and giving them the same value and importance as an adult or mature people around them on the material or the topic or the subject they are having. Design engaging kind of ways of presenting their information so that the students can construct their own meaning, such as by role plays, case studies, thinking, research, and assessment, by analysis, by putting their own theory of understanding where they will put their own energy, or they will dig it, they will source it, they will research it. So they will do their whole work. It will become much more easier for the educators or the supportive teachers or organization to bring them into that track which actually we are emphasizing on and want to become. So that is going to be another important area to focus on, and having an open mindset to encourage all to be comfortable to discuss the uncomfortable topic. It's very important. Then that enhance their inner courage of their own faculty to rise their own faculty of intelligence, unique talents to vibrate in a higher frequency. And that energy and core confidence is the key to see the real result of transformational education towards 2030. um, what is that transformative learning genuinely? Recently, I have wrote an article for that magazine. The topic was differentiated approach towards education, quality education, and the rights of and the fundamental of it. So from there, I will just share few points with all of you. As we all know about pedagogy versus andragogy and lastly heterogogy. So, however, we will provide few points from there to share with all the young people mostly. As an educator, we we should be aware of this, and it's very crucial in the field of education and educating the learners and educators as well, in my understanding. As we all know about the fundamental of pedagogy, andragogy, and lastly heterogogy, but still I'll break it down very briefly for our young and audience all who's gonna see this. Pedagogy is the teaching of children or dependent personalities, and andragogy is the facilitation learning for adults who are self-directed learners, and heterogeneity is the management of learning for self-managed learners. It could be anyone, it could be a young person, it could be an adult like you and me. It is essential to make available resources for the learner to harness as much as information and knowledge is possible. For this towards 2030 generation, transformative learning for this education required more than just getting education and knowledge. Instead, we should structure education in such manner where it is not limited by age, nationality, financial issues, rules, etc. Knowledge shouldn't be orchestrated by the fixed old rules. I mean, that is my understanding. I want to share with you all. It should have principles for sure, but when we mention rules, we basically limiting that source of extracting knowledge, because everyone doesn't have that same capacity of learning or style or same level of intellect. It might be different. I might be good at writing, you might be great at speaking. So we need to keep all this separately and provide the same opportunity for each and every talented people. Everyone got something. That's what I believe. It should be okay. I talked about this. And okay, facilitating transformative learning, one of the primary challenges in adult education. I support this part because in our common theory, due to that man-made society notion, we think only youth age 5 to 20 or 25, 28 is the last time for education, but it's not like that anymore, especially not in this time frame. So, okay, I'll break it down later on. Is that perspectives can be barriers for students to accept due to this social, as mentioned, that notion of our system, the information presented. If the teaching fits into a student's worldview, the information adds to their overall perspective, likely even reinforcing it by themselves. If it does not fit into the worldview, students may reject it because okay, but an educator cannot force a student to have a transformative learning experience. They can only provide the environment, tools, and encouragement to pave the path, which is very important for all to understand that difference. In order to facilitate transformative learning experience, educators should create really a safe environments. When I mention safe environments, it's like having an open-minded mindset and acceptance. I think blocking people by few rules, they actually shrink inside before they flourish. So I think we can create such environment if we want, if we really want to see the change. Um, and this all part you all know, so I'm not gonna repeat this. And encouraging students to discuss the material presented with each other, that is important. Providing a platform for reflection, that is great way to encourage them, including space to explore any changes to their original perspective, because I believe everything has its different perception, right? From my place I will see something else, from your point of view it might be different thing. So we need to teach and encourage, allow everyone to see things from 180-degree rule or go for that 360-degree angle and finding a common ground despite of differences. How to implement transformative learning. Knowing what transformative learning is and putting into practice are two entirely different things, as I mentioned earlier. Here are some concrete ways to encourage transformative learning strategy in a variety of settings, including problem solving, training and education, company culture, corporate culture, personal development, and leadership. Getting stuck in personal meaning perspectives can be a barrier to solving problems efficiently and effectively when people are working jointly or in a group. So whether working through something as an individual or in a group, it is perfect time to open the door for towards transformative learning for all. all. Do an initial brainstorming is a great idea. Challenge personal assumption about the right way of doing things. Be open to making mistakes also, because if you don't make mistakes, you're not going to learn, or you're not going to see the other side of the table. So look for novel solutions from other sources, especially those outside of the field or the culture. So we have to have that acceptance for the differences. That's how we're gonna break those ice and invite that newness, that new way approach toward learning. Reflect on what worked and what didn't and why. And letting them know all this. When you're gonna reflect on what you have worked out already and what didn't and why, so it's itself is gonna give them a clear structure, and it will lead them naturally to take that leadership on learning. So, training and education, adult education is where the discussion of transformative learning begin, I think. Well, it may seem that brick and mortar classes are better suited for some of the techniques. With the quality learning platform, online education has some benefits as well over the traditional settings. So these include time for students to develop their thoughts and replies, room to challenge personal beliefs without losing face. I support that personally. Opportunities for students to refer back to previous discussion, that is also a great way. And tools for highly engaging content like interactive simulation and interaction with everyone. Video cases studies you can provide in that way, and available information for deep diving skill technologies helps institutions create these sorts of learning environments that incorporate the best tools available for all, whether online or offline, whatever you prefer. So I think the system should ask to the students to share their initial thoughts on the subject, provide tools, opportunities for discussion and debate. Debate is a great way, and using all these activities, the way it's gonna give them different kind of wings and perspective. For example, the kind of world we are living at this moment, it's very unpredictable. Due to the progress and the updates of knowledge and theory from the aspects of science and technology, definitely we all gonna agree to that. The kind of subject and topic people are studying, especially the youth, are offered to the students of this group. There is no surety after 10 years or 5 years they're gonna have that opportunity, job opportunity in the same subject or same skills they have developed now, because there might be the different kind of upgrade of science and the technology. So what gonna do, those people will shrink, they will be scared, so that's not my expertise. And also that's where transformational education take place, where we need to encourage and embrace their inner strength so that they can adjust and become much more adaptable to the newness and put their own mindset, own theory, own knowledge to adjust and learn through those new skills as well. So even today, if you go international high tech or smart industry are not interested to offer a job to someone who has only a degree. They look for something else also, other skills, other expertise, experiences. For example, Google, Tesla, and if I pick one name from Bangladesh, it's Nugget. You'll go to that. That's you. I personally know, very good friend of mine. So recently, last 4 or 5 months, they are working on the, even long back also, when we used to talk and hang out, we used to talk about that, how we can progress, by stop dropping all these strict old rules. So what they are focusing on, they are focusing on skills and someone's specific talents instead of just going through the resume. So your end line of doing all this education and studies, subjects, whatever you do, your end bottom line is to achieve something and towards growth. So what sort of education we are providing and having, that there is no surety after 5 or 10 years, that is very shocking and very dangerous for most people. You need to think about that also. So I think I encourage people to provide that not only only formal education, we all do need that, but along with that, ranging some sort of skill education which will, encourage the youth and the adult also to progress. And you never know, we think okay, someone is 30 or 35 or 40, they don't have the time or they cannot learn, but if you see from the aspect of neuroscience, it's not like that. You don't know, someone's intellect might flourish even after 30. If you go by that world wide, that successful people, they all have achieved something after 30. So you should not discourage our adult to learn and keep going rolling. So for that, corporate culture is also okay. Once you done with your graduation and post graduation, what happened? You jump or get into a new environment of your job or a business, any field you go, you face another new learning. So what happened? You go through that journey and you keep on learning every day. Corporate, personal development, leadership, any field you wanna work, you have to learn. So learning has no ending. That is the bottom line. So, one last part that I would like to share with all, if you all understand the neuroscience and you know how our brain functions and its dynamics towards physical, spiritual, and mental state to perform, our brain is a hotbed of electrochemical thing activity all the time, and our brain never sleeps. Our body sleeps, but our brain never sleeps. Our brain has chemical which is crucial to communicate with one neuron or the nerve, whatever you call, to another, transmitting this brain chemical for this information. This work about, I think, per second, 100 billion neurons are firing each other. And out of that per second, 5 to 50 messages are action potential. So when we go through this speed of our brain and mind, this activity allows you to process your environment, move your muscles, and even to keep your balance. Now, if you see the schooling system over 30 minutes over to 45 minutes, the teacher and the subjects are keep on changing, right? And it causing difficulty for our youth brain to understand and which one to focus, whether to focus or not to do anything. So I think that's where we can do something new to rest the brain, especially for the youth, and sincerely into their mechanism to achieve their highest potential, if this is what we are talking about. Through these rules we are confusing, as I mentioned already, so by the teachers or the parents, you'll see some students when they cannot focus on their studies, they have been beaten, they have been um, parents, teachers, they always say, oh, you are not focused, you are so dumb, this and that. So this also affects, but instead of understanding their mindset, we are doing the wrong thing. That's what I felt. Lack of right methods and style of learnings are causing that difficulty. So now everyone is unique in their own way. That's what I believe. There should not be a scale or frame to measure who is better, best, or lowest. These taglines and labels are huge obstacles for young mind. We need to, take it in our concern to focus on their learning. And these social and man-made rules are causing fear instead of growth. So we are creating this fear, and we should think it through. Unnecessary limitations, unethical ethics, which is not only waste of time but also a huge disadvantage of financial waste for the parents and for the nation. System should provide equal opportunity for
So,
all types of learners, including adults. Am I crossing my time, or do I have one more minute to close it?
yes, you have last 1 minute, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, I'm almost done. So, as the world is evolving so fast with the new approach and information of science and technology, I think based on that, we also need to change our approaches and outlook towards education system, and we can always achieve actually what we are looking for. But if we keep on thinking in old way, but we wish to have a different, new, better result, I don't think it's gonna make any sense for any of us. So yeah, that's it. So I think so educating the mind should be the bottom line for everyone, young and adult. Thank you so much for having me. That is my final take on today's speech.
Thank you so much. And yes, it's really wonderful that you were actually pick up the pinpoint of transformal education. And yes, I am totally supporting with you. Yes, we need this thing in the educational sector, and otherwise, it's not possible to carry on our sustainable development goal for 2030 vision. So, thank you so much for your important presentation and also your important thoughts. So, I think you with us for this whole webinar, so we can also share with you some question if our audience ask you. So audience, please feel free ask your question to our expert, and when you ask your question, please mention the speaker name, your full name, your current job title. So please ask any question with relevant topic, not with any other question, please. So thank you so much, Faiza, be with us. So we will again invite you for question answer session. So now we just move to our next eminent speaker, that is Hardina Dwi Nurfika from Indonesia, and she is an entrepreneur, NLP master practitioners, and ACT and REBT therapist, business coach, EI trainer, and mental health advocate. So, IPRH, we would like to invite you in this floor. So Nurfika, the floor is yours. So please,
Okay. Am I
you just
audible?
mute yourself. Yes, yes, yes. You are
Is it
visible. Yes,
noisy?
please.
Is it noisy in my background?
It is little bit noisy. Yes,
Okay, I will try to
yes.
speak louder. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay,
please.
good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. First of all, my deepest gratitude to the organizer, the founder of IPRH, Professor Surya, and all respected speakers and participants. It is my honor and pleasure to be here and to join into this webinar session. We have heard from our previous speakers about the transformational education, and yes, we are living in a rapidly evolving world where change is the only constant. So it becomes imperative that we equip our youth with the tools, skills, and mindset needed to not just survive but to thrive in the face of uncertainty. And that is why my topic for today is fostering entrepreneurial mindset to empower the next generation to pursue their dreams. Because by fostering an entrepreneurial mindset, we encourage young minds to think beyond the boundaries of conventional firm. And then, we need to
So
embrace the challenge.
Nurfika, you want to show your slides? Share your slides,
Yes,
please.
so,
There.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Please.
I will
So
mention it.
yes, you just change the slide, please.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
so like I have said, my topic for today is fostering entrepreneur to empower the young generation because it's really important for our youth to learn about this stuff. Okay, is it widely visible
Yes.
right now? Okay, so my name is Rudiana Devika, and like Professor Sharia already introduced me, I'm an entrepreneur, student for this education center, and also a business coach. That's why I chose this topic for today. And in today's outline, we are covering for us 6 points, which is introduction, defining entrepreneurship, encouraging creativity and innovation, developing risk-taking and resilience, cultivating problem solving, and nurturing a growth mindset. So the first, I want to highlight an important quote: never start a business just to make money, but start a business to make a difference. We have to encourage the youth or the young generation that they have to have a vision and mission to make a difference rather than just to make money, because when they only want to make a money, then it might stop and it might get overwhelmed by the time. So fostering an entrepreneurship mindset is really important because it can empower our youth to be innovative and to have some kind of critical thinking skill, which is really valuable, especially in this rapidly changed nowadays, like in the 21st century, everything has changed and we have so much technology advancement, and we might get left behind if we don't improve ourselves. So here are some points of the characteristic and skill associated with an entrepreneur mindset. First, creativity. So entrepreneurs possess a creative mindset, like generating innovative ideas and solutions, and that's what the youth or our young generation need to have. We need to be creative. We need to explore any kind of the new things that we want to get, because it can really initiate our mind to generate innovative ideas and solutions. Next is risk taking. It means like we have to encourage the youth or the young generation to take calculated risks and embrace uncertainty. And we have to make a highlight to them that it's okay to take a risk, even if we don't know where those things is going to go. But at least we need to calculate it, the risk first. So teach them how to be a responsible person who's going to make a decision. Next is resilience. So we need to teach them how to bounce back from setbacks and learn from failures, because yeah, when we try to something new, when we try to take a risk for new things, and they have to rebalance their mind to be able to bounce back again from the setbacks, so they are not going to get stuck even after the first failure, or maybe even after the failed business at the first time. Because when we encourage them to be resilient, they will try the next step and they will learn from what they have done in the previous time. Next is adaptability. Because we live in a constant change, so we need to teach them to adjust to changing the market dynamic and technological advancement. Let's say you have a student or you have a college who want to start a new business, and you have to see what current trends that is actually up right now. So you have to adjust with it, and then you can take benefits, and then you can even regenerate a response from any kind of the things that you want to learn or even teach for them. So this is like automatically that we need to be adapt to what kind of the things that we want to process. Next is visionary thinking. This is one of the other skills that the youth needs to learn, because we need to have a forward-thinking vision. Like we need to be mindful about the current present, but we also need to envision future opportunities and trends. Like I have said before, we have to check the current markets. We need to teach them to be critical about the situation, so we can take opportunities from the situation itself. Next is proactiveness. So we have to encourage the youth to take initiative, seize opportunities, and continuously seek improvement. Next is, of course, problem solving. So we know that entrepreneurs excel in identifying and solving problems creatively. So we need to give a given task to them to really brainstorm, or even make it the sharpened skills to have a problem solving skill. Next is passion and innovative. Sometimes as the youth, they have so much desire. I want to start an ABCD business. I want to set this startup. I want to get in tech field. I want to get in food. They are having so many ideas. But one thing that we have to remind them, that they need to stick with the passion and motivation. Because if they only want, and it's not only a deep desire in themselves, then it's going to be burnt out and overwhelm themselves while they are doing that. So we have to encourage them to take a deep passion for their ventures, and yeah, motivate themselves. It's really easier when we have that kind of deep passion. So what actually the strategies that we can nurture to help our young generation to be really an entrepreneur mindset? So first, we know that creative and innovation is really important, especially when you want to be entrepreneur, because either you are going to make a product or services, you have to really stay ahead in today's rapidly changing business, right? That's why it's really important to be really constant creative in some kind of good stuff. So we need to find solution over kind of problems that we are having right now. First is encourage curiosity and exploration. So we need to encourage the young individual or the youth to explore different subject ideas, perspectives, and provide opportunities for hands-on experience, experimentation, and discovery to stimulate their natural curiosity. If they ask some question to you as educators, if you cannot answer it, then let them find the answer. At least you give them a guide where you actually can provide answer for, probably maybe you suggest them to find in specific a website or maybe a specific book, at least even if you cannot give them the right answer, or even if your answer is not enough in their perspective, you still always have to encourage them to find, to explore more about their curiosity. Next is promote divergent thinking. So we need to encourage the youth to think beyond conventional boundaries and explore multiple solutions to problems. Like we can try to bring the brainstorm sessions in the class, open-ended question and alternative viewpoints to stimulate divergent thinking. When you want to build a critical thinking, it's really important that we implement in a daily for an open-ended question, so they can really give a longer answer, or they can even critically ask their peers or their colleagues. So it's really important to notice that kind of a point. Next is the other important point, like embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Even if your students are not going to be a businessman or entrepreneur, it's really important to always encourage them to take a failure as a learning opportunity, because we need to learn from our mistake, because it can help us to develop resilience and perseverance by reframing failure as failure learning experience. Next is provide creative outlets and tools. So we have to give the opportunities. Like don't expect them to be able to get certain skills, and don't blame them if they don't achieve or if they don't reach that specific skills if you don't want to provide it. So we have to be wise and also balanced enough. What you take, like whether it's the input or output, it has to be balanced. So both sides, whether the educators or whether the students are any kind of college, they get have the mutual benefits. Next is encourage collaboration and feedback, because we have so many creative minds, we have so many young generation with the creative mindset nowadays, so we need to embrace them, to open with the feedback, because when we are open to the feedback, we actually open the opportunities for making collaboration, which is really can excel or leverage the opportunities for starting business, or the opportunities to learn new things in order to make a business or start a business. Next is the ways to cultivate resilience and perseverance in the face of challenges and failures. Like I have mentioned before, that when we want to have entrepreneurial mindset, we need to be resilient, right? And this is how we can try to get that. First is adopt a growth mindset. Like our previous speaker already stated, that we need to teach the young generation that they need to have a growth mindset. Because yeah, if we only have to teach them math at classroom, or if we only want to take them chemical or many kind of things, that okay, they might really improve their IQ, but who knows if they are having balanced EQ or not, because when we want to be a good leader, a good person in successful life, we need to balance our IQ and EQ. That's right. It's really important to teach them about adaptive growth mindset, so we can encourage them to develop this, and making them to see failures as an opportunities for learning and to grow. And yeah, we simply emphasize them that any kind of skills that they want to get, they want to have in their life, it's really possible to be developed through effort and perseverance. Let's say you're not able to make a new design, you don't know how to make a UX design, you don't know how to maybe build specific things in your class or at your home. Maybe you want to make a sofa or something like that. Just because currently you don't know how to make it, it doesn't mean tomorrow or 2 weeks later you don't know how to make it as well. As long as you have a growth mindset, you are really seeking opportunities for learning, it's really possible. Next is foster a supportive network. Because yeah, let's say when there is a flower that didn't bloom, we are not going to blame the flower itself. Right? We are taking the environment, whether maybe yeah the humidity is less or more, or some kind of the sunlight problem and many more things. We are literally not going to blame the flower when it didn't bloom as our expectation. So we have to foster a supportive network, as it's really important that having people who can encourage ourselves, who can really emotionally support ourselves, it's really great things in order to be in a develop some kind of new things that we want to achieve, because the network that we are going to have can serve as source of encouragement and motivation. Let's say the youth wants to try a new business or the startup, they get stuck when they just write down the ideas. When we have a good supportive network, they are going to motivate us, encourage us, or even inspire from their life story. Next is practice self-care. It's really important to nurture our mind to want learn many things, but we also have to be love ourselves enough, because that's kind of a new journey that we are going to have when we want to acquire a new skill. That's why we need also to pay attention about ourselves. We can practice any kind of exercise, mindfulness, or maintaining a healthy work-life balance. So taking care of physical and mental well-being is really important. So when you have any kind of problems or maybe any kind of the, let's say, setbacks with the current things that you're working on, you're not going to overwhelm or even burn out because of it. Because when you know how to take care of yourself, you are able to maintain your mind. As our mindset really can empower ourselves as well. Whether you can empower or even it can also make ourselves feel bad if we have negative self-talk. So the other thing is we need to set realistic goals, and I encourage you to make a SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bounded. Because when we want to make some things, we rather lose our minds. Like our minds will have million ideas. I want to make A, I want to make B, C, D, E, F. There's so much things we have in our mind. So when we want to achieve it, it seems like impossible because it's too big, it's too much. So we need to really work in the chunk it down, like we make it smaller so it can achievable, and we know exactly when to achieve those kind of the things. Because when we are making smart goals, we know actually how we get there. Okay, so when we are having ideas, we need to know what kind of the strategies and resources that we have in order to support us to get that kind of ideas or dream. Next is seek feedback and adapt. When we want to grow, when we want to keep moving forward for anything, we always have to encourage the youth to seek feedback and adapt. We are living in a constant change where some people take anything personally. Okay, so we have to encourage them for not taking things personally, because when you want to grow in a better place, in a successful life, you have to learn to take a feedback as opportunities to learn and adapt it. So you take the feedback and you try to implement it. Not only just take the feedback. And not taking things too personal. It's really important in order to be a wiser person who is going to be able to adapt with the current changing situation as well. Because being open with the constructive criticism is really important. Next is positive mindset. Yeah, like I have said, it sounds like we are having a growth mindset, which is can lead us to positive mindset. We cannot predict any kind of things that we are going to have. Maybe we can predict that I'm going to learn something new tomorrow, but who knows if there is any kind of the things that we don't want to have and it happens to ourselves. We might feel bad about it when we cannot do what we want, or we might feel unmotivated with it. So we have to maintain a positive mindset, because in our journey we can try to look ourselves again that we all have all the qualities that we want in our life, even in the difficult situation. So we also have to remind the youth to celebrate small wins, express gratitude, and stay optimistic about the future possibilities. Because when we encourage them to celebrate the small wins, they don't feel small, or they don't feel really less appreciated. So we need to foster an environment or a situation where the youth can feel more encouraged when we are celebrating their achievement, even if it's small things, because no matter what kind of things, the process is the process and the result is result. So whether you do 13 steps or 10 steps, and if you get the same result, it still needs to be celebrated, right? So whether it's big or small, it still needs to get celebrated as well in order to have a positive evaluation to ourselves, because giving appreciation for self is a part of self-care that we can also maintain it in order to be a better person in any kind of the things that we want to achieve. Next is, okay, here on the screen, as you can see, I'm putting some kind of the methods that we can try to teach the youth to develop a critical thinking and problem solving. First is encourage inquiry-based learning. So we need to foster curiosity and exploration, community activities that require students to investigate, analyze information, and develop their own conclusion. Because so many things happen on the social media or on the internet, we might take fake news, we might see wrong research and many kind of the things. That's why it's really important to teach the young generation to analyze information that we take it, because when we take the information we actually stimulate our brain whether we are going to follow it or not. So it's really important to analyze the information and develop our own conclusion, not only directly get what other people say to us. Next is incorporate collaborative learning. We need to introduce to the young generation about SWOT analysis. So SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. We need to teach them how to scan ourselves, what kind of the strength that we have, what kind of the weakness that we have, or what kind of opportunities that we are going to have with this kind of strength, and what kind of the threat that might we have, or what the possibilities threat that we have because we have certain weakness. So we need to teach them how to calculate, how to analyze these things in ourselves. Because yeah, we need to exchange ideas to develop critical thinking to diverse perspective as well. That's why it's really important to analyze ourselves first before we try to see what other people have in common, for example. Next is teach analytical skill. So we can teach them the structure approach to analysis with the SWOT, and then we can evaluate option as well. Next step is provide real world context. What happens nowadays is what we are teaching at the classroom it's really different or even completely different with the real world problem or real world context. That's why it's really important as educators to combine those things. Next is teach decision making skills. It's really
Uh,
important because yes,
Hello.
do
Your slide is not moving. Please, can you change your slides? We Yes.
is it still in the map of develop critical thinking, right?
It's a method. Yes. It's
Yes,
okay.
that's
Okay. Okay.
I'm still in that I'm still in that slide. I
Okay.
will
And
mention it.
you have last 3 minutes, please.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So we also need to teach them to make a decision making, because it's really important to have ability to make a decision even in a difficult situation. Okay, this one is for nurturing a growth mindset. We need to see the failure as an opportunities, and we need to challenge ourselves and of course learn from other people's success. And we want to develop a growth mindset, we have to try new things, whether we like it or not, because sometimes we can bring the best opportunities for us from the things that maybe we have never expected or experienced before. Okay, because I have limited time, I'm not going to mention all of this. So we know that Elon Musk and also Jeff Bezos are most really famous and also rich people in this world, and they really have shown a growth mindset because they keep learning, they keep showing up with the new things, even from their failures in the past. So we have to try to develop this kind of things, never give up, even when you failed in the previous try. At least as long as you want to try it, it's really great for yourself. So when you want to start something, you always have to ask yourself first, why did you get started? Why you want to make it? Because when you are working with your passion, of course, it's going to bring you in the most beneficial things. So you have to ask yourself what most you excited to create before you make any decision to start a business. So here are some kind of mind shift questions for entrepreneurs that we can teach the youth when they are having difficulty and think I cannot figure this out. You can try to encourage them to say to themselves like every problem has many solutions. And if they maybe ask themselves, what if I mess up? You can try to remind that failure is success in progress. So there's actually no failure word because yeah, it's just a success that's still in progress that you still need to work on. Next is behavior accountability. This is really what we need to encourage to the youth generation as well because some people might fall to victim behaviors, like they are only wait and hope for certain things happen to them. But what we need to do is we need to be a person with accountable behaviors, like things happens because of you, not things happen to you. So when something happens to yourself, it means that yeah, that's your responsibility to make it true or not. You have to acknowledge the reality, embrace it, and find solution until you make it really happen. Not blaming the situation, not blaming the people around you when you don't get certain things. Because when we are fall into the victim behaviors, it just only make ourselves in more anxious or even sad and get so many problems following that kind of attitude. So that's why it's really important to have the behavior that hold ourselves accountable for what we want and what we are wanting to achieve in the future. So, in conclusion, by empowering the next generation with the entrepreneurial mindset, we actually nurturing a generation of innovative thinkers, problem solvers, and change makers who have the potential to shape a better future for themselves and society as a whole, because they're going to create a new business and a new service that can make employment rate higher than before. So it's really important for our generation to teach or to learn as well about the entrepreneur as well. So let us invest in their potential, provide them with opportunities and support their entrepreneurial journey as they embark on the path to pursue their dream. So thank you so much for listening. I'm giving back to Professor Shari. Okay, I have stopped sharing my screen.
Yes, please. So thank you so much, mm, Hardina Nurfika. Actually, yes, dear viewers, we are hearing some noise from her side, but yes, this is a noise. It is not a noise actually. It shows that today is the Eid ul Adha, and also tomorrow is also the Eid in our Muslim world. Also today is the Eid of all around the Muslim world, and tomorrow is our Eid. So yes, I again give my gratitude to all the Muslim viewers. Eid Mubarak to all. And yes, from the Nurfika side, we already heard the sound of some recitation of some Quran or anything. So thank you so much for your nice presentation. And yes, already with us our respected session chair and also our discussant. I just inviting our respected session chair to the floor. Uh, uh, yes, hello, dear madam. How are you? We
I'm
are
very good.
yes, we are welcoming you in our show. We are expecting you as soon as possible. Yes, yes, we get you, and also we have our discussant with us, Professor Dr. Mihir Kumar Roy. I think, sir, you clearly hear our voice. Maybe you have some technical problem from your side. So now we want to go, we want to move forward. That our next speaker is one of the wonderful speaker, wonderful guest resources speaker, and I would like to Professor Dr. KMA Estaramala from Malaysia. And she is a director, soft skill trainer, teleco consultant, and educator, country director of IPRH Malaysia, international inspirational speaker and award winner. So, dear respected Prof, the floor is yours. So please welcome to our webinar, please.
Thank you, Professor Shariar. Welcome, dear respected honorable dignitaries, resource speakers, and dear global audience. Can we have share our screen? Yes. This is myself. This is my company logo, my training company logo. Let's start without wasting any time. Today, my topic will be in depth about what is transformational education, the definition. The first one will be definition, focus, and primary goal of it. Next will be key elements of transformational education, importance, and all. So let's go to the next slide straight away. I think there's some overlap. Okay. So transformational education refers to an approach to learning that aims to bring about profound meaning changes in individuals' knowledge, attitude, beliefs, and behaviors. What is the focus? Focus is on personal growth, self-reflection, critical thinking, and the development of essential skills for students. The primary goal is not to just to transmit knowledge, but to empower individuals to become active participants in their own learning process and to facilitate their holistic development, fostering personal and uh, transformational education, social transformation, of course. Next, I think I can move the slide. Yeah. Oh, my slide is bigger. Client key elements. I think I have to put to the standard. It's okay. Um, this is slide 5. Okay. Next slide. Key elements of transformational education is including self-awareness. Self-awareness is important to encourage individual to develop their values, beliefs, and biases. Promotes reflection on personal experiences and encourages individual to question and critically examine their assumptions. Of course, next is critical thinking and inquiry. It emphasizes the development of analytical and evaluative skills, enabling the individuals to question existing ideas, challenge assumptions, and think independently. It also encourages the exploration of different perspectives and the ability to make informed judgment. Next, holistic development. The transformational education recognizes the importance of nurturing the whole person, including intellectual, emotional, social, and ethical dimensions. It aims to cultivate empathy, compassion, resilience, and ethical decision-making skills. Active learning and engagement. It promotes active participation, collaboration, and hands-on experiences rather than passive transmission of knowledge. Transformational education encourages learners to engage in real-world problem-solving, project-based learning, and community engagement. Transformational education also uh, promotes empowerment and social change, which aims to empower individuals to become agents of positive change in their communities and social at large. It fosters a sense of social responsibilities, encourages civic engagement, and promotes social justice and equity. Transformational education seeks to go beyond the traditional and focus on content knowledge and standardized testing, and instead of aims to cultivate individuals who are critical. Importance of transformational education. As we approach the challenging and opportunities of future, it is essential to equip individuals with knowledge, skills, and mindset necessary to thrive in ever-changing world. Here are some key reasons. First, adapting to change. Transformational education helps individuals to develop the ability to adapt to rapid societal, technological, and environmental changes, fostering resilience flexibility, and a growth mindset, enabling individuals to embrace new ideas, learn from failures, and navigate uncertain circumstances with confidence, which shared by our dear Hardiana Devi just now in diagram form. Let's go and see next. Critical thinking, the problem solving. Transformational education emphasizes on critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. It encourages individuals to question assumptions, analyze complex issues, and develop innovative solutions. These skills are essential for addressing the complex challenges of future, such as climate change and so on. Next, collaboration and communication. Transformational education promotes collaboration, teamwork, and effective communication. In a highly interconnected world, the ability to work on collaboratively and communicate across diverse cultures and disciplines is essential. It is to build meaningful relationships, leverage on collective intelligence, and tackle global issues collectively. Next, digital literacy and technological competence. Transformational education recognizes the increased influence of technology in our daily lives and prepares individuals to be digitally literate and technologically competent. It equips them with necessary skills to leverage technology effectively, navigate the digital landscape responsibly, and harness its potential for positive change. Next, global citizenship and social responsibility. Transformational education also emphasizes global citizenship and social responsibility by instilling a sense of empathy, inclusivity, and ethical decision making. Empowered individuals can become active participants in shaping a just and sustainable world, contributing to social progress and addressing global changes. Life learning, lifelong learning. Transformational education cultivates a passion for lifelong learning by encouraging the individuals to seek knowledge, embracing curiosity, and continuously adapt and grow throughout their lives. In an era of rapid knowledge expansion, lifelong learning is essential for individuals to remain relevant, agile, and engage in an ever evolving world. Next, entrepreneurial and innovative mindset. Transformative educational, Transformational education nurtures an entrepreneurial and innovative mindset by encouraging individuals to take risks, think creatively, and pursue their passions by fostering entrepreneurship and innovative education empowers individuals to create new opportunities, drive economic growth, and contribute to development of sustainable solutions. By embracing transformational education, we can empower generation towards 2030 to become active agents of positive change capable of addressing the complexity and uncertainties of the future. It equips them with the necessary tools to navigate the challenges and seize the opportunities that lies ahead, enabling them to build a more inclusive future. What are the global challenges and opportunities in transformational education? 21st century definitely consists of a multitude of complex and interconnected challenges on a global scale. These challenges encompasses a wide range of areas from environmental issues to socio-economic disparities and technological advancement. First, the challenges are climate change. The warming of planet due to greenhouse gas emission is one of the most pressing challenges, leading to rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and disruptions to ecosystem, posing risk to human health, food security, and economic stability. Next, the challenges is environmental degradation, where apart from climate change, challenges such as deforestation, loss of biodiversity, pollution of air, water, and soil, and depletion of natural resources. Next is and inequality. Despite of overall progress, poverty and inequality persist in many parts of the world. Achieving sustainable development and ensuring access to basic needs such as education, healthcare, and clean water which remains a significant challenges. Next, conflict and political instability. Ongoing conflicts and political instability in various regions create humanitarian crises, displacing populations and hindering social and economic progress. One good example is the war in Ukraine. There's many more examples which we can rely on to explain this situation. Addressing the root cause of the conflicts and fostering peace are crucial challenges. Next is global health. Emerging infectious disease, access to healthcare, and race in non-communicable disease pose significant challenges to global health pandemic system. Pandemic such as COVID-19 crisis highlight the need of international cooperation and preparedness. Next is technological transformation. Rapid advancement in technologies such as artificial intelligence, automation, and robotics bring both opportunities and challenges. The ethical applications, job displacement, and ensuring equitable access to technologies are key concerns. Next, cybersecurity and data privacy. As society becomes increasingly reliant on digital systems and interconnected networks, the protection of sensitive data, prevention of cyber threats, and safeguarding individual privacy becomes critical challenges. Next, migration and displacement. Political, economical, and environmental factors force millions of people to migrate or to become displaced, like Ukraine, often leading to humanitarian crisis. Managing migration flows and addressing root causes are significant global challenges. Another example is in Syria, war in Syria and many parts of the world. Next, demographic changes. Shifting demographic including an aging population and rapid urbanization pose challenges related to healthcare, social security, infrastructure, and resource management. Next, sustainable development. Balancing economic growth and social and environment sustainability is a central challenge. Achieving United Nations Sustainable Development Goals requires collective action and innovation solutions. Let's see let's identify opportunities for transformational education to address these challenges. Definitely, it is involving technology challenges as well and innovative delivery models. For example, online platforms, mobile learning applications, and open educational resources can reach learners in undeserved areas, those facing physical barriers to education. Personalized learning. Every learner is unique and education should be tailored to individual needs and abilities. Transformational education can leverage advancement in learning analytics like artificial intelligence and adaptive to technologies. Next, critical thinking and problem solving. In a rapid changing world, it is crucial to equip learners with skills to think critically, solve complex problems, and adapt to new situations. Transformational education can prioritize teaching these skills by incorporating projects based on learning, interdisciplinary approaches, and real world application by encouraging curiosities, creativities, and analytical thinking. Students can become more prepared for challenges they will face. Next, global citizenship and cultural competence. In an interconnected world, it is essential to foster global citizenship and cultural competence. Transformational education can promote understanding, empathy, and respect for diverse cultures, perspective, and by incorporating multicultural curricula, international collaboration, and cross-cultural changes. Students can develop skills and attitude necessary to thrive in a global society. Next, sustainable development education. As the world grapples with environment challenges, there is a growing need for education that promotes sustainable practices and environmental stewardship. Transformation education can integrate concepts of sustainability across discipline, instills a sense of responsibility for the planet and encouraging innovative solutions to address environmental issues. Next, entrepreneurship and innovation. To foster economic growth and adapt to changing job market, education should be emphasized to entrepreneurship and innovation. Transformational education can provide opportunities for students to develop entrepreneurship mindset, critical business skills, and problem-solving abilities. By nurturing creativity and entrepreneurship spirit, education can empower individuals to create their own opportunities and contribute to learning. Next, last one is social and emotional learning. In addition to academic knowledge, transformational education should prioritize the social and emotional well-being of the students. By integrating social and emotional learning into curriculum, education can help students develop self-awareness, empathy, resilience, and effective interpersonal skills. This focus on holistic development and can contribute to healthier individuals and communities. Our last topic will be how technology can empower students. Okay, technology can empower students and teachers by transforming the way education is delivered and experienced. Here are some ways in which technology can empower students and teachers in future. First, access to information. Teachers and students, once they have the information, access to information by through online resources, digital libraries, and education platforms enable students to explore subjects beyond their textbooks and engage up-to-date content. Teachers can also leverage on resources to enhance their lessons and provide students with diverse learning material. Next, personalized learning. Experiences tailored to individual students' needs and ability. Adaptive learning system, intelligent tutoring softwares, and learning analytics can assess students' progress, identify the area of improvement, and deliver custom learning paths. This empowers students to learn at their own pace, reinforce strength, and provides target supported leader. Next, collaboration and communication. Technology facilitate collaboration and communication among students and teachers. Online platform, video conferencing tools, and discussion forums enable students to work together on projects, sharing ideas, and engage a virtual classroom. Teachers can collaborate with their peers globally, share best practices, and access a broader network of resources, fostering a cultural collaboration and knowledge sharing. Next, interactive and immersive experiences. Virtual reality and augmented reality technologies can create immersive learning experiences. Students can explore historical sites and target to distant location or participate in simulations that bring abstract concept to life. This interactive and engaging approach enhances students to and motivate them comprehends motivation provide motivation comprehension and retention of knowledge. Next, and distant learning. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the adoption of remote and distance learning, highlighting the potential of technology to reach students regardless of their geographical location. Online learning platforms, video lectures, and live streaming of classes enable students to access education remotely. This flexibility can empower students to face physical limitation, live in rural areas, have other constraints that prevent them from attending traditional classroom. Real-time feedback and assessment. Technology allows immediate feedback and assessment of students' work, online quizzes, automatic grading system, and digital assignments enable teachers to provide timely feedback, track student progress, and identify areas where additional support is needed. This helps students to understand their strength and weakness and adjust their learning strategies accordingly. Next, enhance creativity and expression. Technology offers various tools and softwares that promote creativity and self-expression. Students can create multimedia projects, design digital artwork, produce videos, or develop interactive presentation. These tools encourage students to think critically, express their ideas in innovative ways, and develop essential 21st century skills. Career, next is career and skill development. Technology equipments equip students with skills needed for future workforce, like online courses, coding platforms, and skill-specific application provide opportunities for students to explore. Thank you. Thank you for listening. My dear audience, feel free to read and discuss more with your peers, teachers, and explore more. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your beautiful presentation. And yes, this is actually really very important part for the transformal education to empowering the generation. And yes, I am totally agreed with you. Professor Esther. So now we are just inviting our next and last guest is resources speaker from Georgia, and she is actually the teacher, educator, translator, and international speaker, Maka Shikrulzis. So please, Maka, the floor is yours. You just
Very
join
much.
this floor, and I think you will present a beautiful presentation on this transformal education and empowering generation. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much. Today it is an amazing day and very interesting day. Thank you for an invitation, Prof. Shahriar Harvest. Thank you very much, all speakers. Thank you very much, my great motivator, my leader, Inga Harchilava, and my Georgian team. My successful steps, and I can share my presentation here.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I am Makasi Kharulize. I am English teacher, tutor from Georgia. Uh, uh, okay. I am an educator, translator, international speaker. I write articles. My dream was to be a teacher who loved children very much. I'm developing daily and I am in search together with my students. I try to raise a generation that will be proud of their countries. I try to be an exemplary teacher for my talented students, and therefore I am always a participant and active listener of various educational webinars and conferences. My goal is to be a successful teacher of the 21st century, and to make only to make only to make thank sorry for to make any students interested in learning deepen their knowledge, and a friendly and positive attitude, and make them as motivated as possible. In the traditional model of education, students often passively absorb information and memorize facts without fully understanding their practical application. However, the pedagogical approach known as problem-based learning is recognized as a transformative method that actively supports students and equips them with the necessary problem solving skills. Problem-based learning or transformational approach to the teaching learning process puts students at the center of the learning process, introduce them to real problems and challenges. Rather than just providing contact, teachers facilitate the learning process, guiding students to work together to develop analysis and problem solving skills. And problem-based learning or transformational approach to the teaching learning process, the main principles are a problem-oriented approach involves carefully selected problems that reflect authentic situations, stimulate students' curiosity, and stimulate the learning management process. The problem involves complex, open stimulate learning. The problem involves complex, open, multidisciplinary issue that prompts students to approach it from a different optimal situation. And the problem-based learning teaching process promotes the active involvement of students, which requires them to investigate problems, formulate hypotheses, and develop problem-solving strategies. Through this process, students build their own understanding of concepts and develop important skills such as critical analytical thinking, creative problem solving, collaboration, and active communication. And self-regulated learning, teaching problem-based learning gives students the opportunity to take responsibility for their own learning. They must determine what knowledge and skills they need to identify the problem, solve it, conduct research, and find appropriate resources. This is a self-regulated approach to the teaching learning process, which strengthens students' motivation, autonomy, and metacognitive skills. And authentic application of knowledge by touching on real problems. Problem-based learning allows students to connect theoretical knowledge with practice. Such activities enhance students' cognition and motivation, and they see the immediate value and impact of learning. And UNESCO's Future Education Initiative aims to stimulate and capture the global conversation about education, learning, and knowledge in an increasingly complex and unpredictable world. Transformative education is at the heart of this process. It facilitates the change and necessary development of individuals, communities, and systems, and will be the key to making significant and meaningful change. Transformation approach, the main principles of teaching are enhancing critical thinking skills, problem-based learning, as I mentioned above, promotes critical thinking by encouraging students to analyze problems, generate hypotheses, evaluate evidence, and develop reasoned arguments. These skills are valuable. They can be transferred and induced in different fields. And why we must transform education now. Global warming, accelerated digital revolution, growing inequalities, democratic backsliding, loss of biodiversity, devastating pandemics, and the list goes on. So these are just some of the most pressing challenge that we are facing today in our interconnected world. The diagnosis is clear. Our current global education system is failing to address these alarming challenges and provide quality learning for everyone throughout life. We know that education today is not fulfilling its promise to help us shape peaceful, just, and sustainable societies. That's why it has never been more crucial to reimagine the way we learn, what we learn, and how we learn. The turning point is now. It's time to transform education. What are the key areas that need to be transformed? Education is in crisis. High rates of poverty, exclusion, and gender inequality continue to hold millions back from learning. Moreover, COVID 19 further exposed the inequities in education access and quality and violence, armed conflict, disaster, and reversal of women's rights have increased insecurity. Inclusive transformative education must ensure that all learners have unhindered access to and participation in education, that they are safe and healthy, free from violence and discrimination, and are supported with comprehensive care service within school settings. Transforming education requires a significant increase in investment in quality education, a strong foundation in comprehensive early childhood development and education, and must be underpinned by strong political commitment, sound planning, and a robust evidence base. And digital learning and transformation requires harnessing technology as part of larger systemic efforts to transform education, making it more inclusive, equitable, effective, relevant, and sustainable. Investments and action in digital learning should be guided by the three core principles: centers and marginalizing free high quality digital education content and pedagogical innovation and change. Teachers are essential for achieving the learning outcomes and for achieving SDG 4 and the transformation of education. But teachers and education personnel are confronted by four major challenges: teacher shortage, lack of professional development opportunities, low status and working conditions, and the lack of capacity to develop teacher leadership, autonomy, and innovation. What are the direct objectives of Vision 2030? The goal is to create a society in which every citizen enjoys a happy, fulfilling lifestyle complemented by standard of living which provides a safe and environment for them. Thank you for your listening and paying attention for me. I am very happy to be here. Thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your beautiful and actually really wonderful presentation from Georgia. And our audience actually benefited, very much benefited from your wonderful presentation and slideshow and your speech. So it's our honor that you came from Georgia. You just present your slides. So now it's the time to invite our webinar session chair because she is one of our honored person that just joined from UK, and I give my gratitude to Dr. Alka Mahajan Madam from India, founder and CEO Chilfarco International, an academician, English expert, leadership in education, higher education, psychologist, and coach, mentor, trainer, and many things because she is one of the mentor and she is one of the capable personalities in this world to understand how to education actually sustain. So welcome, madam, in IPRH this webinar, and please share your important speech with us. Thank you, madam. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and a very good evening from UK. If I were in India, it would have been a little late evening. But first of all, before I begin, it's always wonderful to begin with heartfelt gratitude. Professor, you are a wonderful person, and thank you for organizing such thought-provoking and such a relevant global topic. And yes, it is on a very auspicious day today. So, a very, very happy Eid to all of you. Obviously, we're getting such power thoughts and the power of prayer, that is something which keeps the global family connected. So, very good. And it's a very auspicious day. And I think this is what we also need to teach through education, that no matter which part of the world we belong to, wherever and whatever our religion is, we all are human beings. It doesn't matter how our prayer style is, or who we actually connect with when we have to connect with the supreme being. The point is, we're all human beings. We are part of a global family, and that is why we're connected on this platform as part of the global family, to share our thoughts, to empower ourselves first, and then empower others. So, you know what? When we're talking about empowering education, when we're talking about transformation in education, education needs a complete makeover. Gone are the days when we had the traditional system in the classrooms. It was the reading, writing, arithmetic kind of a thing. That cannot be, because that is not practical. We need to have an education that is lifelong, that is sustainable, and that teaches a global citizen in the making to keep on learning. Because transformative education is a process that does not have a final destination. Education can never be final, learning can never be final. Learning is a process that goes on unending. That is why at Chilparco International we say that from the child in me to the parent in you, and from the parent in me to the child in you, life is an unending journey of learning. We keep on learning, and there is always transformation happening. It may seem ordinary in the beginning, but that ordinary change is actually later on becomes an extraordinary outcome. So this is the journey, and we cannot resort to that old traditional forms. And all of you have been speaking wonderfully. I've been hearing all of you, and thankfully I was able to join well in time to hear my friend Professor Hardiana speak, Professor Esther Mala and Professor Mala speak. You ladies were wonderful in presenting your thoughts, and yes, you focused a lot on mindset. And I think that is what is the order of the day. Until unless we have a mindset for learning for life, we cannot bring transformation in education. Now, over here, I'll just like to tell you a little anecdote. So there was this very, very wealthy, entrepreneur. He went to this saint because he said that he had a lot of problems, and he went to him for some kind of guidance. When he went to him, he told him that, I have so many problems. People are bothering me. I have, he just kept on talking about his problems, not letting the wise man actually help him. So what the wise man did, the wise man went inside, got a cup of a cup of tea, without any tea inside first, and had a pot of tea. And he kept on pouring tea from that kettle onto the cup. And he kept on pouring, and it kept on overflowing. The man, first, he thought that maybe he wants to fill it completely, he wants to fill it completely to the brim. But then later on, he saw that the tea was falling onto the ground. And then he actually stopped the wise man and said, "Why are you spilling the tea on the floor?" He said, "This is what I want to actually tell you. If you have to learn something, or if you have to seek guidance from someone, then you need to be open to learning. You cannot think and you cannot say that, yes, I know it all, or you cannot have an I know it all attitude. If one is an educator, if one is a very successful person, if one is a successful entrepreneur, businessman, corporate, media professional, whatever area you belong to, if you say that I know it all, your journey of learning ends there. And then we cannot say that education is transformative. It cannot be, because you are not willing to receive more guidance. You are not willing to learn more. Now, just like that man, he had gone to this wise old man for help and guidance, but he was refusing to listen to him. He wanted to help him, but he did not allow the wise man to help him. His cup was overflowed. He had so much of an opinion. He was opinionated, highly pompous, and he could not think of anything else but himself. I think that is where we go wrong. We talk of self-care in education now. The course, the curriculum should be focused more. If we really want education to transform and go towards a sustainable, meet those sustainability parameters of 2030, then we need to change the entire framework. We need to focus more on public speaking. We need to focus more on communication, and communication, positive communication. We need to focus more on teaching students about life management, stress management, anger management. We need to teach them more about, little things around the house, little repairs. I mean, one needs to be self-reliant, self-independent, be able to manage to do things on their own and not look here and there when in little trouble. Learn coding, learn reading. These are things. Insurance, financial literacy, financial, they need to have financial education. Many people do not even know how to, fill up a bank check. These are simple things that, I mean, a square plus b square is equal to a square, b square, whole square. All that is very good. But learning needs to be something that is practical and that which we are using. Now, many learners know so much when it comes to theory, but they're not able to apply that theory because it was so structured. And because the thing is so structured, and it was so it was based on a mindset that was so fixed, because everything went by structures in the classroom. Just because it was imposed on the learner just learned because the learner had to learn it, but then could not really apply it in real life, became very indecisive. Whenever a challenge came up, could not face it. Now, when the pandemic happened and from offline education we came on to online learning, I think that was a beautiful experience. We suddenly realized how our learners were so open to learning and receiving, and even empowering their own teachers and educators, because technology became a big thing. Technology became a savior. Technology helped us connect from all parts of the world. Aren't we connecting from different parts of the world? And I think that is a beautiful and wonderful experience. And that's all. That is actually a transformation. Initially when this happened, that everything became digitalized, everybody, started saying, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this. Everybody had that fixed mindset. But then when you allowed the growth to happen, when you allowed the things to happen naturally, unfurl and unfold naturally, everything became simple. Now look, we're connecting from different parts of the world. We're learning from one another in this beautiful platform, which encourages people to express their independent thoughts, perceptions, thinking, expertise. Everybody shares, everybody cares, everybody empowers and gets empowered in the process, because we keep saying that each and every individual is unique, each and every individual is unstoppable, each and every individual is unbeatable. Finally, each and every individual is timelessly tenacious, and you can only be timelessly tenacious if you have a mindset of learning. So all these things are very, very good. I mean, all of you spoke so wonderfully when you talked about education being a happy process, not only for the learners, but also for the teachers, the educators. Because if we are not happy, we will not be able to nurture individuals towards becoming global citizens, happy global citizens living in happy spaces, living in a world where peace reigns supreme, where happiness reigns supreme. We want to make the world a beautiful place to be in, but we cannot make it a beautiful place to be in when there is so much of hatred, when there is so much of judgment, when there is so much of comparison. Why get into comparisons? Aren't each and every one of us unique and unstoppable in our own way? So we cannot be the same. See, we have to understand one thing. We cannot be the same. We all have our own uniqueness. So, with our own uniqueness, we need to spread love, happiness, patience, and then only we can empower. And when we say that education needs transformation, education automatically will have that transformation with a lot of empowerment, and also because it was a happy process, it is going to be sustainable. So this mission of the 2030 SDGs, sustainable development goals by the UN, will only become a reality when all of us are equally part of it. When we take action, we not only talk about it, but let's act. And there's simple things like conserving the environment, respecting the environment, respecting people, ensuring that we do not waste things that we get. We take certain things for granted, like the electricity, like water, like green, our nature. Let's not spoil it. If we do our bit, let's take up whatever area that we are passionate about, let's take that bit up, and let's make the world a beautiful place to be in. We all have a fantastic mindset that is empowering, that is empowered, and that is growth mindset. And all of you have been talking about a growth mindset so beautifully. Professor Herdiana did it, Professor Dr. Mala, Professor Maka. You were all wonderful, and you were all insisting that if we need to actually see this transformation happen, the transformation will happen only with action. It cannot happen. So if once we're here, we're sharing our thoughts, let's put them into action. This is my plea, this is my humble plea to all of us together. It's not only for you, but it's also for me. It's for everyone who's watching this webinar live. And my favorite quote, which I guess some of you must have heard it. Robert Frost. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. We have a long way to go. We are beginning. The process of transformation has just begun. But if we do not keep at it passionately, working hard, believing in ourselves and our uniqueness, we cannot take it to the level that we actually want to take it to. So I request all of us, let all of us, I mean, when we're training, mentoring, coaching, empowering the young learners, let's also get empowered in the process. Let's make this world together a beautiful place to be in. Let's be happy. Let's not compare. Let's not judge. Let's not find faults, because everyone is imperfect and everyone is unique in their imperfections. And imperfections are beautiful, because then you realize that you need to work towards something. Otherwise you'll think that you're perfect and you won't work. So you will become a little complacent, and we don't want to become complacent. We don't want to procrastinate. We need to continuously take action. With that, thank you so much. Blessings to each and every one of you. And yes, let's together empower one another and make this world a jolly good, beautiful place to be in. And Professor, you are doing an amazing job. Loads of blessings to you. And once again, a very happy Eid to you and to all our friends all over the globe. These are the moments that remind us that, all festivals have one thing in common, and that is love and happiness. And everyone is unique, everyone is diverse, but everyone believes in the power of love. Everyone believes in the power of being global citizens. One family, humanity. Thank you so much. Shukran.
thank you, and thank you so much, madam. You are amazing. Actually, each of your wonderful words actually just keep in my heart. Actually, yes, it is actually the situation that how can actually we move. So yes, in if we want to make it, then we must do it from our heart, and yes, we must respect each and every society, each and everybody. So thank you so much because you are now
My
I
pleasure.
think you are now in a vacation and in UK. So
Absolutely
I
okay, Professor. Anything. I mean, remember, you had in one of the programs shared a song, "Jab Koi
yes,
Baat Bigad Jaye." So, which means that if something goes wrong, we should try to help one another whenever we can. So that
definitely.
was the gist. It's basically something on the lines of 500 miles. So let me give the
Yes.
English version, and Professor sang it beautifully. So, yes, I think we should always be there for one another, supporting one another, empowering one another. And it doesn't matter if one really wants to do it, and if one is genuine, then one can be in any part of the world, one can still connect. So, thank you so
Correct.
much for this beautiful connection and this beautiful platform. And thank you to all the wonderful global leaders. You all are amazing, awesome, and admirable.
Thank you so much. Please, madam, be with us. We just now, dear audience, already our link, Google link is on the screen. So please, you fill up this for your e-certificates, and we want to connect with. Professor Dr. Mihir Kumar Roy, a PhD Dean and Chair from the City University, Bangladesh, and since the renowned economist in agriculture, economy, and multidimensional researcher in the on education. So, sir, can you hear me? Because he is actually suffering for that is called technological problem. Sir, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I am
Oh,
heard you.
so it's our pleasure. We just want to hear something about from you because you were our webinar discussion. So please, sir, share your
Okay, thank you.
beautiful,
Okay,
wonderful thoughts. The floor is yours, please.
thank you, Professor Shahrir Parvez, CEO, uh, Independent Persistence and Research Hub, and thanks to him for inviting me as a discussant of this international webinar, Volume 5, on transformational education, empowering generation, Vision 2030, etc. As many as four papers is presented in here, one from Bangladesh, two from Indonesia, Malaysia, and one from Georgia. Probably I understood. From this presentation, I found the paper of Faiza and Mala are naturally similar type of paper. They are defining transformational education and their other consequences from the theoretical perspective. And the paper presented by uh, Norifika is especially based on the entrepreneurial approach to education. And the fourth paper, Georgia, is basically based on problem-based learning, etc. Now, I want to uh, say something uh, uh, about our sustainable development, etc. As for the sustainable goal that would be achieved by 2030, and out of the 17 goals, sustainable goals, education is the SDG 4, and it has 10 targets and 11 indicators. From the viewpoint of this sustainable development goal, uh, uh, naturally, it has started from 2014 under the initiative of United Nations Organization. And in the meantime, it has passed naturally nearly 10 years, etc. If it is, if it is 2014, it is nearly 10 years, etc. We passed the sustainable development goal. And within this system, we have achieved many things. We are now living in a global world. and 21st century is the century of the knowledge-based, technological-based society, and we have naturally heard the fourth revolution, and fourth revolution message, core message is the knowledge-based society, artificial insemination, and if we consider the knowledge-based society, naturally we have to go to the technological dimension of educational system, etc., etc. The class-based education and lecture-based education system that we have practiced for a long time, from the British India to Pakistan, India, even in the Bangladesh arena. So these are now obsolete now. The class-based education system is now obsolete now. And education is broadly, which is mentioned by first author, it is the harmonious development of knowledge, skill, and attitude. Harmonious development of knowledge, skill, and attitude. Yes, there are a lot of changes regarding the educational system throughout the world, including Bangladesh, etc. And recently, I heard that the best educational system is that system which classroom is the main focus of the educational system. Everything must be performed in the classroom situation, teaching, learning, evaluation, etc., etc. And within the classroom situation, everything is complete, and there would be no formal examination or evaluation system outside the classroom situation, and which is found to be the best educational system in the world. If it is so, that means classroom is the main focus of our teaching learning system. And then what would be the layout of the classroom situation system? It would be the sophisticated knowledge based, technological based, and all sort of technological devices would be employed in the classroom situation, so that the teacher will be equipped with all sort of devices, and he will provide his most modern techniques of teaching learning, and accordingly everything will be performed in the classroom situation. And if we consider the SDGs goal as some goals, target, and indicators, which would be guided by 2030, etc. So, as I understood from this paper, uh, and transformational education, that means it is always a changing situation, transform from continuously changing process. It is not a static one. Transformational education, and during the over the years, we have transformed many things from our systemic approach, and then we transformed in the technological based education, teaching learning situation, etc. So as I understood, in the technological process, there are many things included in the educational system. The first thing is the system of admission that we considered in our transformational education system. Admission system, how can I admit a student, etc. Then come to the reforms in continuous syllabus changing, continuous reform in the syllabus system. Then continuous transformation on the teaching learning method, which has been discussed in the two papers, teaching learning methods. According to educational equipments that we are using in our classroom situation. Then come to the evaluation system. Then come to the research publication and digital hub or digital devices, etc. Then automation. Then university industry or the education system industry collaboration. Then come to the questions of teacher and come to the questions of student and his right in the education system. If we consider the primary education system, we consider the secondary education system, or even we consider the higher education system, the transformation start naturally from the primary level gradually. And it naturally grow up to the upward trend from the secondary level and come to the higher education level, etc. Now, as I understood from the discussion here, especially the paper presented by third author from the Malaysia on the entrepreneurship development. He linked his teaching system. That means life-based education system. Education system is not only from the viewpoint of theoretical perspective. He has considered education which will create entrepreneur in the society, and one entrepreneur has many skills, etc. And accordingly, an entrepreneur, if he established as an entrepreneur, he can create an opportunity for other people for employment, etc. So the life-based and the field-based or action-based educational system, it is very important in the present situation, because after completing the education, everybody wants to try to employ somewhere to maintain his life. There are self-employment, there is wage employment, etc. But the wage employment scope is gradually lower. But the self-employment scope is there is open to all. The paper presented by third paper presented by an Malaysian expert on the vision of entrepreneurship development. He has nicely presented the entrepreneurial skill opportunities, etc., etc. And I am very much impressed about his presentation about the. As a whole, an institutional transformational education, as I understood, that is a continuous process. It's a continuous changing situation in the global world, etc. So we are always think that the, to be adopted in the continuous learning system process, we must have to develop, or we must have to create effective and efficient teacher to link to these changes, etc. And then they will link this system with the student for which this system is specially created, etc. Now, teacher and the learner, they are the two key actors, especially in the teaching learning process. And transformational education, and it is also for the transformational education and empowering the generations, etc. So through the educational system, we would like to give some message about not only the education from the point of book. We link the educational system and our syllabus with the real life situation, so that from their academic arena, it may be 3 years or it may be 4 years or it may be 5 years, he can understand that what is learning in the book and how it linked with the practical situation, so that after completing his education period, he can provide himself or herself with any job or self-employment, etc., etc. So that would be a very life-based and very effective education, as I understood, etc. The transformational education is a continuous process. It will continue. In the present day world, we are very much using digital platform, online, offline, online, etc., etc. Global. We are using all type of technological devices in our education system, but its applicability varies from country to country, depending on the socio-economic situation, depending on the economic status of the society, etc., etc. One thing which is applicable for the Bangladesh, it may not be applicable for the India, or it may not be applicable for the Malaysia or any other country of the world, etc. It entirely depends on the socio-economic condition of the country. In a developed country, it is one kind of reflection, and in a poor country or a middle income country like ours, it's a different perspective, etc. The papers presented by first and the third authors, if they can link the transformational education system with the practical situation, with some case studies or any practical examples, then it would be very much benefited for the audiences, those who are participating in this webinar, so that they can really understand how the transformational education system can change a society, or change a person, or change a social system, or change a community, so that they would be more benefited from this practical orientation. And the paper presented by one Malaysian on entrepreneurship development, yes, he has also discussed all the things from a theoretical perspective through slides, etc. if she can also link one or two case studies with his presentation, then it would be more effective and more learning ground for the audiences, so that they would be more benefited and we would be more benefited. But one thing gained from this whole presentation, we are familiar with the transformational education system and this dimension, its theoretical background, what is its characteristics, what are the imperatives for transformational education system, and how it could be implemented, and what are the characteristics of the transformational education system, and these things can enrich our knowledge, etc. Then its effectiveness will be found when we can convert this our theoretical skill with the practical skill, so that it will create some new venture, new entrepreneur, and a new dimension of thinking, and a new food for thought, and also an avenue for creating new business world or economic world, etc., etc. So, in such a situation, one suggestion for the four authors to make some more research on this area, research on this area, basically, আপনার, transformational education, empowering a generation, etc. But it's a continuous process. Do we need some research, etc., to do what is the impacts of such theoretical perspective in the real life situation? If you can prepare some case studies, country specific case studies, community specific case studies, or some uh, examples for the for the practitioners, those who will be benefited from such theoretical explanation. I hope that such type of presentation will continue, and this presentation will gives us more theoretical food for thought, and also give an way to how to proceed with our transitional educational system, etc., etc.
Oh,
In the
thank
context of
you,
Bangladesh,
sir.
we have
Sir,
we have also,
we you have a last 2 minutes, sir, because we have time concerns. So please,
okay,
sir, you just
okay.
finish it.
In
Yes, please, sir.
in the context of Bangladesh, as for example, one Bangladeshi Mahajabin also presented a paper on transformational education, and his paper is also based on some theoretical proposition. If she can explain the what are the transformation that has made during the last 52 years in our educational system, then it would be more benefited, and it would be more attractive, and it would be more useful for the audiences. As for example, tremendous changes has been made by the government during the last 52 years, from primary education to secondary education to the higher education level. We are also linked with the global world, and we are also linked with the global phenomena of digital platform, what is called digital Bangladesh. We are also using the digital platform system even in our primary education level, secondary education level, higher education level, and government patronage all these things to make our educational system more linked with the globalized system for digital Bangladesh, etc., etc. This will create some knowledge-based society that can enrich our youth to handle such type of devices, and they can create employment opportunities uh, 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 for the futures and the years to come. And we are very much grateful to our government that a tremendous change has been made in our digital platform system and transformational education system. And we hope that in the years to come, not only Bangladesh and other countries also will go a long way in this path, so that we can transform our education system, transform our syllabus, transform our
Yes.
modes of presentation,
Thank you
etc.
so much,
So,
sir, because
thank you,
our
thank you,
time is limited. So
thank
thank
you,
you so much, sir.
thank you for thank you for
Yes.
Professor Parvez. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, yes, your analysis is so much. You scrutinize very much carefully about this slide. So yes, this is the world, and different countries has different perception, and they are actually doing in their ways. So yes, in our countries we have some perception. In Malaysia they have some perception. So different viewpoints we have in a educational system. But yes, the main point is here that activity based learning system is the main point, that this is how can we implement, and in this way we can achieve the vision 2030. I think we are almost end of our session. So Dr. Alka Mahajan, madam, if you with us, so please, if you with us, please join again. So you just give us the vote of thanks if you with us. So please, it is the moment that you just give the vote of thanks, and we will conclude our webinar session. Please, madam.
Thank you so much. And yes, it was an absolutely amazing, exclusive session today because until and unless we actually talk about it, brainstorm about it, looking ahead, the way ahead at times we cannot be able to, actually map and chart out our way ahead. So if we have to actually make plans of how to proceed further in the areas that we are passionate about, especially when it comes to global education, education in our country, yes, but we are also referring and targeting at global education. So I would like to first of all, thank you because you were the one who organized the entire session, from inviting the wonderful global leaders, inviting me, inviting Professor Mihir. And, I think that is something because, everybody has their own things going on. But, to connect people also is an art. The interpersonal skills, the way you connect with us, I think that is amazing. Thank you so much because until unless you have that patience to get people together, because I think that is also very important to get like-minded people together on the same platform talking about a globally relevant topic, that is something which also requires a certain skill. A good sense of understanding people perceptions, like your independent perception research hub talks about. So I would like to, from the bottom of my heart and from all of us over here, a big thank you and a heartfelt gratitude to you, Professor. Keep rocking, keep inspiring, keep connecting people, because that's the way forward. That's the way forward, and you're truly doing a remarkable job because I know how much you value. Uh, the wisdom that has been handed to you by your parents, by your seniors, and taking that forward as a legacy, you are bringing in more change going by the current scenario. So, thank you so much for organizing this session on such a power packed topic. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart once again on behalf of all of us because we are one big family. And yes, let me now proceed to Indonesia and thank Professor Herdiana. I mean, that was lovely, because we could hear the sound of prayer. And, it's they say that the family that prays together stays together. And that's why we were still connected, listening to you with such a lot of focus. There was so much clarity and wisdom in what you were sharing. And the fact that you are an excellent coach, mentor, and trainer could be seen by the way you were sharing and talking using those slides, taking each point, dissecting it, bifurcating it down further, and giving examples to, prove your point further. Amazing job. Keep inspiring, learners, inspiring everyone around you. You are an amazing person with excellent communication skills. I know you for a long time and I've seen how you have, sort of come up in a big way. So thank you. And on behalf of all of us, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And yes, let me move over to our very wonderful friend from Malaysia, Professor Dr. Esther Mala. I know her online, haven't really connected with her, but would love to connect with her. She is such an amazing human being, so kind, a humanitarian. You can see how she sort of, applauds everyone, encourages everyone. You can see the fact that, she does not bother that somebody is doing so well. She has that spirit to actually acknowledge someone's uniqueness, applaud it, encourage it further, inspire, and tell the person that you're doing a brilliant job. I see her comments on social media, and believe me, they're so encouraging and inspiring. We don't know each other, but yes, I still feel so connected to her. Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Esther. I mean, you talked a lot about growth mindset, and I think you have that in abundance. Your growth mindset in abundance, and that's the way forward. Because if we need to change the world, we need to first change our own mindset, and you are doing that remarkably well. Thank you so much from all of us, from the bottom of our heart. And yes, we have our friend, lovely, charming friend from Malaysia. Oh, no, sorry, Georgia. I'm meeting you for the first time, my dear, and I think you are an amazing, charming human being. And yes, now that we have connected, let's stay connected and forever. Thanks to Professor Dr. Parvez, I mean, we couldn't have connected otherwise. That's why I say he's brilliant at doing this job of connecting people together. So it was lovely to hear your thoughts and the fact that you're so passionate as a teacher, as an educationist, and you are so concerned for your learners. You want to make them happy. You want to give them a happy space through education. Please continue with that because the world needs more of happy teachers who ensure that their children's happiness is their first topmost priority. If we have to bring that change in education, we will only bring it when we, actually make our young learners feel happy. And that's the way, they will become happy global citizens of this happy global family. And yes, remarkable. Our Professor Meher, thank you so much, sir. I mean, you gave a fantastic viewpoint. I mean, each and everyone, you talked about their presentations in detail. And I think that was, I feel you're a very detail oriented person. Thank you so much for furnishing those details because, everybody wants to hear what part of their presentation really made an impact. And you did that wonderfully for all of them, for all of us. A heartfelt gratitude, the fact that you talked a lot about sustainable development goals and the way we need to achieve them, something that I also believe in. Sustainable, it all begins with sustainable lifestyles, it begins with sustainable connections. We need to keep our connections sustained. If we have connected now, it should be forever. It should not be that we're connecting today. So it has to stay. And it begins like this. Connections, creations, collaborations, communication has to be sustainable for sustainable development goals to be fulfilled together, to be actually achieved together by 2030. We have already begun the process. We are all working hard at it, and I'm sure the way we're working with super speed, we are so aware, we are wonderful at networking and encouraging our friends, one another, empowering one another. I think we will truly achieve it. So once again, thank you, thank you, thank you. A very, very happy Eid. Shukran, Zaziran Allah Barak Fi, Danke, and merci. Dhanyavad to each and every one of you. Mabuhay, Salamat, Shukran. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience today. Once again, a big thank you to you, Professor Pervez. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
very much.
Thank you so much, madam. You were amazing. Actually, for that reason, I am just inviting you as a session chair because I know that each of your word actually just pinpoint in our heart. So we give you a big, great thank from Independent Perception and Research Hub, and we hope that
Oh,
in
we're
our
family.
future, we
So
yes.
all one big family, one big happy family.
Yes, yes, and
Yes.
we hope that in our future webinar we will again invite you as a discussant, as a speaker, as a resource speaker, as a session chair. So that's my honor also.
Absolutely.
So yes, from my side, I am from Independent Perception Research Hub, just thanking each of our participants, our viewers, our audience, and especially our distinguished speaker from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from Bangladesh, from Georgia, because you are doing a great job. So thank you so much, and we hope that in future we will again arrange one another educational webinar, and we inviting again you, and we hope that you will again join with us in independent perception and research hub, because in this platform actually each of them actually related with IPRH, because in front of me Dr. Esther Amala is our country director from IPRH Malaysia, and our Madam Alka Mahajan is our country director from India, and also Maka is one of our executive from Georgia, and Dr. Mihir also our senior research fellow, yeah, with working with IPRH. I think each of you are actually joined with this family, and yes, we hope that in the future we will again meet another webinar. So till then, thank you so much. So thank you so much. So I think this is my honor, and we hope that yeah, we are again meet in future webinar. Thank you so much. So dear viewers, we almost ended our session. So your registration form already on the comment box, so you can easily fill up this registration for your e-certification, and I hope that you gain some educational perception and thoughts from this webinar. And because IPRH always believes that the knowledge is power, so be happy, be healthy, and always join with IPRH by following our Facebook page and also subscribing our YouTube channel. So thank you so much, the audience all around the world. We hope that we will meet again. Till then, bye bye, namaste, Allah Hafiz.